Hey everybody, Mike here. Just wanted to give you a heads up about this week's episode. The audio quality on my half of the recording was not great, and so I just want to apologize for that. I figured out the problem obviously after the fact, but we had already recorded the episode, and so I just wanted to give you a heads up about that, and we'll have better audio next week. Fingers crossed. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Hello? It can't be. Hello?
You yearn to see your parents, yet you don't remember what they looked like. Can you believe this place? I could stay here forever, couldn't you?
Janeway said she can't leave the ship.
You're too smart for your own good.
If you're not Janeway, then who are you?
Consider me a representative.
I was told there's no intelligent life here.
Life is everywhere. We have the ability to see what you want and give it to you. We also sense your fear. You can stop running. The Diviner won't find you here. We can protect you, but you have to stay.
Thanks, weird lady. Sounds like a sweet offer.
Welcome to Deep Space Pride, a gay Star Trek podcast. I am one of your hosts, Johnson, and with me is my co-host, Mike Thurlow. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing all right for Wednesday. How about you, Johnson?
For Wednesday at 10:13 p.m. It's late.
We are recording late. I worked late today, so...
Yeah. I mean, it's okay with me. I'm not going to go to bed till like 3, but, it's late for you.
Yes, it is late for me. But that's fine.
I'm going to probably work out in like 2 hours or so.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you're a late night person. Yes, typically I would be showering and getting ready to crawl into bed and read for the night.
Yeah.
And so we're here recording, talking about Star Trek.
Yes, Star Trek. We are here. We are excited.
On the eve of new Star Trek, even more new Star Trek.
Yes, apparently the 5th episode of Prodigy before it goes on break, huzzah, and the season 4 premiere of Star Trek Discovery, which I'm moderately excited about. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am. You know what excited me, and I forwarded this to you on Instagram. If you follow Star Trek on Paramount Plus or whatever, I forget what their name is, but they're doing these new logs, and the first one I listened to was Dr. Culber, and they are making Gray a body.
What are they doing?
Dr. Culber is creating a body for Gray to inhabit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
that's a spoiler.
That is sort of a spoiler, but it was on Instagram.
Like, what is he doing? Like 3D printing a body?
It must be. I don't know. I mean, but he said they're encountering some issues, and so he's going back to a 24th or 25th century cybernetist, which is not Sung, interestingly enough.
Oh,
So I'm not sure what's going on, but it was very cool. Yes, it's sort of spoilery, but yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this is all about.
Yeah. Oh, too bad it wouldn't be. It's, I guess. Well, it would be a lot to, I guess, bring back Brent Spiner for that. But
Sure, yeah. And also, let's see. David Ajala had one, or book had one. I don't remember what his
oh,
was.
you're talking about these logs or
These
whatever.
logs, yeah, on Instagram, and these
Okay.
audio visual logs, right? That they do, but typically they do it on a separate Instagram, like Star Trek logs or something. But this was on the main Paramount
Oh.
one, and I don't remember what David Ajala's books was about, and but I do. It did make me think. What's it like being the captain's boyfriend? You know, that's got to be interesting. And he's not a member.
Sure.
You know, he's not a
Well, that
member.
one makes it easier that he's not a crew member. Otherwise, it can get
Sure,
kind of tricky.
no, yeah, he's a consultant.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm more excited about it. I'm also really excited. I love the new uniforms. We've talked a little bit about this.
Sure.
They look great. Yeah, I'm ready to see Sonequa in the captain's chair. So, and yeah, I'm curious about Saru's pin that's special. The interview that Dan and Bill on Trek Geeks did with Doug Jones talked they asked him about that, and he said, "Oh, you'll learn that in the first couple of episodes."
Okay.
So yeah, so there are like little tidbits here and there. So I am more and more excited about it. You know, so yes, my excitement has grown, and it will be satiated tomorrow.
I have a moderate excitement
I'm gonna
level.
hold myself back and watch the 5th episode of Prodigy just so I can kind of close that book and then start Discovery.
Got it. I do have to say, I'm moderately excited. There's other stuff that I'm a little more excited for. I'm excited for like season six
Expanse, yeah.
of The Expanse, which is coming in December.
Yep.
Last season. You know, I know I've said this before. I think it's one of like the best sci-fi shows in the last decade. It's just so good. At least that's my opinion. I know the strong opinion.
There, yeah, I would say season 5 was really strong. I mean, some of the either 2 or 3 was a little.
You got bored when they were on the planet.
Yeah, I got bored with that.
That was season 3, I believe. But I actually like season 3. It was a little bit slower, but honestly, it's consistent. It's consistently solid. I would say it's so good. I'm very excited.
Yeah, that comes out what, December 1st, or is it this Friday too?
Or mid-December. This is all going on in December between that and Wheel of Time, which is more fantasy. And then the Matrix, Matrix movie. I'm not sure. I'll take it.
Cowboy Bebop comes out Friday.
Cowboy Bebop. That's right. There's a lot. This is not off topic, but I can't help it. I started watching Succession.
Oh, no. I have not
watched it. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It features our Enterprise B captain, Harrison or something?
Harriman.
What?
Harriman. Captain John Harriman. Alan Rock.
Well, he's in Succession.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. He looks very similar. He has a little more white in his hair, but he looks the same. Like, oh my God. It's crazy. In any case, yes, there's a lot.
Best friend, by the way.
What was that?
He's Ferris Bueller's best friend.
Oh, okay. Wait, Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I'm sorry, what? You've never seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
No, but I use Bueller all the time.
Oh my God.
I've never seen it.
Who are you? How that is like a perennial movie of the 80s.
I mean, you know, I just never watched it. I don't know. Yeah, no, I just never watched it. I never bothered.
All right. I think over the Thanksgiving Day holiday, I think you need to watch that.
No, over the Thanksgiving holiday, I need to finish Coda. That's my priority.
Well, yes, I expressed before we get on to recording that my strong disappointment in your lack of progress through Coda Book
I
2.
understand. I've been focusing on the second fish tank. This is why I've been doing that in all my free time.
My disappointment is not abated by your fish tank.
I have other hobbies. It's not just this podcast and Star Trek.
I know, but Coda is like you're missing the Empire Strikes Back. Sort of.
I know.
like,
I'll read it. It's happening. It's gonna happen.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's gonna happen. I'm savoring it. I'm savoring it.
Right. Yeah. By the time you savor it, Book 3 is going to be out.
I know. I will. It will be, but that's okay. It's fine.
Anyway.
Anyway.
For 10 o'clock at night, aren't we?
Yes, we're animated right now. In any case, I do think that we have a little bit of Star Trek news to talk about, other than obviously the premieres that are happening tomorrow, or rather the episodes that are being released tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we do. Sad news. I mean, disappointing news to our international fans of Star Trek that as of today, I guess Wednesday, or maybe yesterday. I don't know.
Or yesterday? I don't remember.
It was announced yesterday, but I think it's probably taking effect today. Netflix is no longer carrying Star Trek Discovery internationally. So, and it's not Discovery Season 4 will not be available until Paramount Plus launches internationally in early 2022. So, that's all of the news. That is literally what So we're up against, and they released this information 2 days before the premiere of Discovery Season 4.
Yeah, it's a little annoying.
I would say a huge miss by the PR department here. You've had all month long to announce this.
Well, I'm sure it's been in the works for a while. Like, it has to be.
Sure. But
they must have been discussing it for some time,
Yeah, it's just, I was saying before we recorded it, it's just another decision by these big corporations. And, I'm not a huge fan of Paramount and some of the decisions that they have made.
Definitely suboptimal.
But this one takes the cake. I mean, this one it's just crazy to yank this away from international customers right prior to the launch of Season 4, just as everything is getting hyped up for it, I think is really disappointing. So, to those listeners who might be international, we're sorry that this has happened. We'll preface our episode parts when we talk about Discovery.
I mean, basically, they shouldn't listen until they start watching.
Right? But we want, the internet is an amazing place, and you probably can find these episodes in other ways, torrents, and watch it relatively quickly. Although I fear that the police bots of Paramount will be on the lookout for such things.
I'm sure. Yeah. I think that it's just unfortunate that, like you said, it's so last minute, and they're not offering any other vehicle for these people to watch the show at all up until then. So yeah, and we've talked about it before. Obviously, we know that Paramount is a business, and they're trying to consolidate their franchises under the Paramount Plus umbrella because they want subscribers. But it's just unfortunate. It reflects poorly on the IP. Like, it's hard to disassociate the platform on which something is exclusive on with the actual franchise. And at the end of the day, it's business.
Yeah, so. Agreed. It's unfortunate. I mean, Star Trek has such a huge international following.
Right.
I mean, they just had Destination Star Trek in Germany, and a good six people were there from the Discovery cast.
Mm-hmm.
And then they released this after that, and I just think that that's shitty,
right?
Perfectly frank, and it's just poor planning. Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I think it's really unfortunate. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we already went on and on for like 10 minutes in our last episode about Paramount Plus. I
Yes.
don't think we need to focus too much on that. It's just,
Right.
it's just another it's just another piece of news that made us kind of roll our eyes.
Yeah.
So
And it doesn't detract from our love of Star Trek at all, really. It's just, unfortunately, this is the entity that owns Star Trek and is responsible for its marketing and everything. And, it's the management, and it's just below suboptimal.
it's suboptimal.
Doesn't even really do it justice. Like, it's so far below suboptimal. It's piss
It's bad.
poor.
It's bad.
Yeah,
So,
bad.
well, hopefully, January, right? January is when Paramount Plus is going to be rolling out internationally. I don't know how quickly that's going to happen, but
Right, yeah.
hopefully,
Timing on that.
hopefully, it's 6 weeks, which I guess is a while, but
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be halfway through the season by that time, and if they are, I don't know what I was going to say. Yeah, if that's halfway through the season. I mean, there could be, I don't know what this. I really have no thoughts about what this season, how this season is going to play out. We don't know if there's any cliffhangers, if there's any two-parters, or obviously it's one big story again, which is typical of Discovery. But yeah. So anyway,
so that's a bit of Star Trek news. You got a pin.
I did, yes. So everybody knows that Fansets is our exclusive sponsor of Deep Space Pride and the
they are.
Trek Geeks Podcast Network, and I ordered the magnetic Delta of the Wrath of Khan, and it came today. Thank you, Fansets. It was great.
Fansets.
And this is a heavy-duty pin. It is heavy. It is gorgeous. It is amazing quality. I mean, this tops. I mean, I'm impressed with their Discovery magnetic pin, but this one just is phenomenal. It's so cool. It's amazing. And I would say that this is probably their best Delta pin to date. I got the magnetic version. Like you asked me, I have no idea where I'm going to wear this. I would, but I mean, it's just, I might wear it at a convention. Maybe it's
right. Bring it to a convention. Yeah, bring it to Chicago in April.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's super awesome. So thanks to Fansets for creating really high quality, amazing products. And you can get 10% off your order if you use the code DS Pride, all in caps.
All in caps.
And if
you used it, you got 10% off. You got $4 off. You got $4 off, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is this is the most expensive pin I bought from them.
Right.
And after receiving it, I totally understand why. I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, Lou and John and the team at Fansets did an amazing, amazing, amazing job with this pin. I highly recommend you pick this up before it sells out, because it will probably not replenish until, who knows, maybe February of 2022. Who knows how long it'll take them to get more of these pins. So head on over to Fansets, put this Wrath of Khan Delta into your cart, put a bunch more pins. I also got Admiral Kirk and the Admiral Vance micro pins to add to my micro pin collection. But if you put a bunch of pins in your cart, use DS Pride for 10% off. And if you get that Wrath of Khan pin in there and you're in the United States, it's automatically free shipping. So go on over to Fansets, show them some love. They're an amazing small business. And we want to thank Fansets for being our exclusive sponsor of Deep Space Pride and the Trek Geeks Podcast Network.
Thanks, Fansets. I'm not used to doing the sponsor call out until the end, so I was kind of thrown for a loop. But I was ready.
You asked about the pins, and I just rolled into it.
Yeah, it was a very natural segue.
Yeah, it was. It was great. And I really do love this pin. So go check it out, please. Yeah, so we've got some Prodigy to talk about.
Yeah, why don't we get into it?
Stop. Whatever you're planning to do. I'm starting to think you weren't just locked up for space flu. If you think you're going to fly out of here, I want you to know you've already been locked out of all ship controls and... Wait, how did you...
All this time, my father taught me starship mechanics, astrophysics, linguistics, information technology, and I never questioned why. He was preparing me for this ship.
Janeway to Captain R.L. Your prisoner is loose and trying to steal the protostar. Captain. Captain, can you read me? I can't let you take the ship.
I am reclaiming it from my father.
This starship belongs to the United Federation of... which you now have full command access to. How can I be of service?
So this episode is called Dreamcatcher, and it premiered last week, November 11th. Sorry, I'm like reading off Wikipedia, so I usually don't do this, but I'm letting everyone know it premiered November 11th, 2021. And we only have one more episode before we go on break. According to Wikipedia, it's interesting. This is the first time seeing it. The second half of Prodigy, or rather the next batch of 5 episodes, will start on January 6th. So we'll have that. But what Wikipedia did, I don't know the source here, I need to dig in further, is they have 5 and 5 and then 10 more TBD. So we talked about this last time. I mean, like, I was like, are they gonna cut it up to another 5 episodes and then release it 5 episode chunks? That's gonna be fucking annoying. Oh my god.
So wait, is it? I didn't. So how does Wikipedia know it's? Launching?
I need to look at the source. I literally said I need to look at the source. Okay. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but they put January 6th would be the next 5, and it's gonna run through February 3rd, and then season 1 being 20 episodes, 5 and 5, and then 10 remaining. They're putting 2022 TBA. So that may or may not be false. I mean, like, or they might just be guessing. Whoever edited this might be guessing that that's what they're going to do. That would not shock me, but it'd also be very annoying. I'm just saying right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're just getting to know these characters. I'm already annoyed because we're just getting to know these characters. So this episode ends on a cliffhanger.
Right. Very interesting. I thought...
It's episode 4. We're hopefully going to have a conclusion to this, but we haven't even,
I feel things have just started. Like, I feel like we barely warmed up. Like, so it's just a very odd decision to bring it up this way.
Right.
So...
But what did you think about it? Because I usually go first.
I was going to go first.
I need some things to feed off of.
Okay. So I only watched this episode once. I know you watched it twice. I only saw it one time last Friday. Yeah. So you kind of gave me the heads up that Dao is annoying this episode. So I went in with that expectation, and I actually wasn't as annoyed with Dao this episode as I was last episode. Last episode, he was insufferable. I was hoping that he would be killed this episode. That didn't happen. He's incompetent. This is not annoying. He's incompetent. Like, he shouldn't be captain. None of them are competent. This is the problem. None of them are competent. None of them know what they're doing. Janeway is limited in how much you can guide them. I have noticed, so this is one thing, Janeway is definitely not in control, whatsoever. She's here in an advisor role, and I'm kind of just used to the Janeway that is, taking names, taking charge. So this is a very different Janeway. It's hologram Janeway. It's not real, Catherine Janeway.
Not even Captain Janeway, yeah, right?
So, obviously it's based on personality, so she's giving guidance, whatever. But I knew this was going to happen. at some point her program would be manipulated. And it already happened. I was like, at some point, someone's going to hack her program. And it happened this episode. I was like, oh my God, so soon. It's like already, like like she has no control of her faculties. Like, it was so easy. Gwen took over the ship way too easily. I know she's been like trained by her father to diviner to like pilot a ship, but it doesn't mean she can like override like security passwords. Like it's like trying to guess like what she just guessed, like hacked into the computer and was able to like like override the lockouts. Like I'm like, okay, all right. And it annoys me because everyone's incompetent, no one's looking after Gwen. She of course escapes for the second time like in 2 episodes. There were these things about this episode that I found to be very annoying because they're playing into these tropes that we've seen over and over again on Star Trek. Maybe to the young Star Trek viewers, it's like, oh, it's new. But to us, it's like, oh my God, already, like Janeway can't do anything. And she, the Doctor didn't get like hijacked until like some later episode, I recall, on Voyager, where, like someone like, they like deleted his like ethical subroutines. I don't remember this episode, and he was like operating on 7. Like that didn't happen until like season 5 or something. And like we're already getting like, she has no control. Like, it's just like so easily overwritten. Well, like, episode 3, my God. So
no, I know. No, well, it's episode 4, and
episode 4. Sorry. Well, yes, episode 4.
I think she was almost reset. I don't think she was reprogrammed necessarily. I think she was reset.
Well, she was basically she was manipulated in some way. And already, like that's what happens. It happens so fast. I don't
think that there are any security protocols that they updated or did anything about, because they're kids. They wouldn't know how to do this. There's a lot of things that
I would imagine that hologram Janeway would at least be like, oh, lock out the controls, do XYZ, put in a password, standard encryption, like use LastPass. I don't know, like I don't know, like use something. It can't be that easy to just hijack that. I'm sorry, like that's ridiculous.
It was easily launched and taken off. So I mean, I feel like this ship is in its default mode. Like, yes, I think
when they first found it, sure, but if they specifically locked it out, like hologram Janeway specifically said, "You're locked out of the controls." Like, come on,
yeah.
Like what? And so basically anyone can come in, just like override it. Like that's way too easy.
I understand your frustration and I feel it and I understand it. I think it's just we have to remember it's a children's show and
it's like a kid show.
We're way overthinking this, but because we're Star Trek fans, we of course are way overthinking this, and I'll be interested to hear what M on Discovering Trek says about this, and if she calls this out, because I bet that she picked up on this.
Yeah, I haven't listened to any of the podcasts. These are fresh thoughts.
I haven't listened to her thoughts on this, but because I love listening to kids talk about this show and what they pick up on. But my thought was just about how they all went off in their own direction.
Right.
They wanted to get away from each other. They're not a crew. They're not a team. They're not looking out for each other, which I see as the kids' lesson in all of this is that you look out for your friends.
Right.
Duh. But, the annoying part and what I was most annoyed with is Dal takes off and leaves them to do the scientific work. And he goes off on a spin. And so I think that when you were talking about him before, his biggest problem is he's arrogant. His second biggest problem, and this episode is obvious, is he's selfish.
Oh, no, he's definitely selfish. Like, he totally is looking out for himself. Like, that's one of the things that was also annoying about him in the last episode. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely looking out for himself. But the other thing, too, is, so we did learn a little bit of his backstory. He doesn't remember what his parents look like.
Right.
So they the planet couldn't recreate that for him.
Right.
So it's obviously been a length of time since he has been separated from them for whatever reason. Again, we don't know a lot here, but
Oh yeah, so that's one thing. We were talking about this before we started recording. So this reminded me of the Voyager episode, season 5 episode Bliss, which is when they run into this not this like it's a nebulous like creature, and it basically it's like a Venus flytrap. It's like it gives everyone basically what they want, and they like, for example, they like they do a scan and they find there's a wormhole to the Alpha Quadrant, and they're like, what? And then they get news from the Alpha Quadrant, and I think Janeway was like, oh, Mark is separating from his wife or whoever. Like there's like everyone gets like good news and they get really excited. And Janeway and Naomi Wildman aren't affected because they're like, what's going on? Because they don't have
Naomi.
What?
Seven and Naomi. You said Janeway.
Oh yes, Seven. Sorry,
Seven
yes. And then Seven and Naomi Wildman were not affected because Naomi is a child and she has nothing else besides Voyager. And Seven, who's still kind of new to being human, also doesn't have like things to buy into basically. So they're unaffected, and it's up to them to kind of like save the crew. Blah blah blah. Everyone else is kind of like, woo, like they're kind of in Fantasyland. So this reminded me of that episode because it's the same thing. Everyone was kind of getting what they want, and then the planet's like, stay, it's like, so that was it was effective. I mean, we've seen it before, but it reminded me directly of that episode, but still I thought it was well done. The planet itself.
I thought it was a slightly different take on
in the
that.
Hirogen system. Oh, flag. I was like, bitches. I was like, first of all, okay, this is like going too deep. I was like, okay, so if this is Janeway, programmed based upon Janeway, and they know Voyager's database, shouldn't they be like, bitches, stay away from the Hirogen system because red flag, hello? So I thought that was interesting. Because they're like, let's go explore it. I'm like, what? This is a terrible idea. What, you want to get like hunted and killed? Like, is this the plan? So, I mean, it was very specific, the Hirogen system. So that made me wonder, like, why did they choose that? Why they specifically mentioned that Easter egg?
Great question. Maybe we should tweet at the writer's room and see if they have a response to that. That's a great question. Yeah, I picked up on that too, and I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But
let's go explore it.
Focus on it. I didn't really focus on it too long. But yeah, it seemed odd to me as well. It
is very specific. It's not just like a random M-class planet. It's like one in the Hirogen system.
So the other thing I think too is that they're placing this in the Delta Quadrant, obviously, but this also firmly places them in the Delta Quadrant.
Right.
Period. But so the other piece that I wanted to share, so we learned a little bit about Dal. We also learned about Jankum a little bit. He is.
What did we learn about Jankum?
Food. So it's just about the food. This is just like so he says, this is just like the food on the Telerae sleeper ship that I was on.
Yes, you are correct.
So we have this little...
I did catch that, yes.
Bit of backstory. We don't learn anything about Rock. We don't learn anything about Zero. In this
Rock, we learn she wants to be loved.
Well, we saw that with Murph. She brought Murph on the ship, so it's like
Zero was just like, ooh, pretty engine, I guess.
Yeah, so that whole idea, but nothing. I didn't feel like that was anything new for Rock, and Zero was wondering about that in the engine room when he and Jacob went exploring the ship. So last episode. So, I think that, so we learned two little tidbits about our main characters, and also that Gwen can control that weapon that is part of her somehow. So she's got some...
She's like telekinetic or something like that. Yeah,
she's got some really interesting skills and abilities that
I'm just annoyed that she escaped again. Like already.
It was so. It was.
I guess it's boring if she just stays in the brig, but
Yeah, exactly.
It did save Murph though.
She did, and that, in my eyes, that slightly redeems her.
because she probably did it like out of guilt, like, you know, based upon the feedback that she got the last episode from Rock Talk.
Yeah, but think about the Cadian child that she saved, Cation.
That's true.
Child. So she cares about other beings, and I think that this is also, she does care a little bit about Dal. She even throws that comment, you know, about friendship out to him as he's leaving the brig, and so she does have there is some soft spots in her, but obviously the minute they all leave her, she, you know, leaves and gets out and steals the ship basically, and you know, crashes it. So
oh yeah, that was another thing. I feel really bad for the Protostar because it is getting banged up. Like in the last episode, I was like, because it was getting hit by like asteroids or whatever. And this episode, it like crashes. I was like, this poor ship is going through the ringer right now. Not to even mention the first episode, like it took some damage, you know? And are they even fixing it? Like, are they doing? I don't know.
Well, I'm wondering. So you know that
maybe.
Well, I think they have like versions of the Dot 23s, like Discovery has. Do you remember that little mechanical thing that Murph goes and chases after? I think there are some automated bots that are maintaining this ship at some point.
Yeah, hopefully, because I was like, it is getting fucked up. The ship.
Well, it is now for sure.
Fucked up in the cells, like it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, you know that I love starships, and I think this is a gorgeous starship. I'm really wondering if next episode we're going to get to see this third nacelle appear, and you know,
it has like one landing strut. Did you notice this? I was like, this is the most unstable thing that you can possibly offer to land on.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's perfectly balanced, which is pretty amazing.
But it's just not. It's not structurally sound, like in the sense that
I get it. I get it.
One versus like multiple. Like,
yeah, no, I totally agree. Which makes me think that this is smaller than Voyager. This ship is smaller than Voyager was.
It might be. I mean, yeah, we talked about it. I mean, the bridge is massive. It's very big.
Yeah, the bunk room is pretty large. There's a lot of bunks in there for crew. So yeah, I mean, it's
what does Zero say? I mean, he estimated that it would take like 20 something humanoids to like
to run
it or something.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what he was basing that on, but they Zero is a they. Sorry.
Yes.
But yeah, it does seem small. It might be smaller than Voyager. You might be right.
Yeah. I would still like my technical manual, please, Denise and Michael Okuda, please.
I don't know if they're consulting on this one.
I don't either. Yeah. But I wish there were. Speaking of consulting on it, just really a quick side note: David Mack, who wrote the third book of the Coda series and is an acclaimed Star Trek novelist, was a consultant on Prodigy. So, yeah. So that's cool.
Cool.
But yeah, you were saying, what else were you saying about? So we've talked about Gwyn. We talked about mainly most of the crew. What are your other thoughts on the episode?
I feel we talked about everything. I was just like rattling off thoughts. Like I didn't have notes. Like I was gonna say I did like this episode more than the last episode because I just could not stand the last episode. This one I could rewatch. Like, yeah, I can actually watch.
I like this one a little bit better. You know, other than Dallas taking off in the rover and the runaway. That's very him at this point. It totally didn't vex me as much. It did me. Yeah, this one, you know, he was arrogant last episode. He's selfish this episode. For some reason, the selfishness annoyed me even more. And in fact, he's a child.
He's a child.
No, I know.
They're all children.
Well, he did respond to the whole idea that Janeway would have to report them to Starfleet if they didn't check out this class M planet. But his little temper tantrum, well, I'm not taking us there and no one can change my mind. And like that whole little stubborn piece of Dal is really annoying. It's like, but actually
that does raise the question for me. Like, hologram Janeway is aware that they are in the Delta Quadrant, right? I would assume, because I mean, she brought up like star charts and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that must be an empty threat unless they have some form of communication, like way to communicate with Starfleet. Like, I don't know, but is she just joking? Like, I don't know.
Really say like we'll report to Starfleet when we get in comms range or something like that. So she didn't really, and I think that the threat was enough, like that little, like, I'm going to tell the adults on you, as Dal interpreted it, and no need to get the adults involved. So I think it was just for the sake of, I think it was something, the way I took it was a parental comment meant to elicit the response that it did. So I thought, so that's the way I took it. But,
I just thought about something. I feel one thing that is missing, which you get a little bit in this episode, but I feel that we will hopefully get at some point, is that the crew, as we call them, I feel they're kind of just meandering. Like there's no like mission. Like in this episode, Janeway does give them, she goes on her soapbox and says that it's part of their mission to explore strange new worlds or whatever.
Right.
But are they headed somewhere? Are they like just trying to put distance between them and the bad guy, Diviner? Like, in which case, if that's the goal, why can't they just ask Janeway, hey, can you just go in a direction as quickly as possible? In which case, bust out the third nacelle, like if I was them and that was the goal, I'd be like, let's get the fuck out of Dodge or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Janeway's like, okay, we can go up to warp 9.9, whatever, slipstream, whatever they have. There are questions that haven't been asked and answers that haven't been given because the questions have not been asked,
Because the crew is a bunch of kids, essentially. So
yeah, but if their instinct right now is to survive, right? Because it's clear in this episode, they were like, let's, at least Gal is like, we need to get away from Diviner. At least ask like, hey, is there a way for us to get out of the sector or get out of this quadrant like as quickly as possible? If that's the goal, I feel Janeway could be like, well, this is one way that you can do this if there's your goal, and we would, but then we have no show. Like, I'm sure the Protostar can travel much faster than anything the Diviner has, like based upon what we theoretically have seen from promos. So there will be no show, like if they could just get out. But yeah, I feel like it's only episode 4, but I feel that there's like, it's like, what are they doing? I don't really know, like, is there like a larger objective? Like, are they just survival?
Yeah. So for me, I think what I realized in this episode is that, when we talked about the premiere,
mm-hmm.
we asked the question, so what does Star Trek Prodigy mean? Who are they talking about?
Sure.
And I think this for me was, originally we thought it was Dal, or I don't know, maybe you didn't think of it. I thought it was Dal.
Oh, I thought it might have been Gwyn because she can speak all these languages. Like,
right. I think you were more correct. I felt like she's more the Prodigy, and I think that at some point, I think that we're going to get her to be the captain of this ship. She's going to pull the crew together. She's going to go against.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't either. But I think that she might be the glue that brings them together somehow, or keeps them together. She also has, which we saw with Murph, is this nurturing side, which every captain or crew leader should have, right? Is that they should care more about the crew than themselves. So I think that that's a definite differentiator between her and Dal for the captain's role. So I'm seeing sort of possibility of that playing out, and the crew sort of getting behind her at some point. Even Dal was taken aback when he pulled her out of the shuttle and saw that she had saved Murph.
Mm-hmm.
Although he did make the comment, "You crashed our ship," but
that's fair.
which is factual, right? That's not a lie. So she did crash the ship. Um, so I think that's going to be the direction that this is. That's my speculation that's the direction we're going to go in. Is we're going to see Gwyn go against the Diviner and pull the crew together and try to get away from them all. It's for a show that we've seen a couple of episodes for. We've got 16 more episodes this season, plus they've already been renewed for what I would imagine would be another 20 episodes in season 2.
It's a lot. It's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, that's a lot. So I don't know that this is all going to resolve itself anytime soon. I think that the little tidbits that we got this week are going to be what it's going to be like. Like, I think for me, this is going to be this will become a bingeable show once the whole season is done. Mm-hmm. You'll kind of be able to see the whole arc and what's happening, and we'll also by that time have an idea of where they're going in season 2. But right now, it's just kind of like a kids weekly show that are not really weekly because they're going off the air, but for a little while. But
yeah. Well, we have thoughts about that.
It's going to be like this. I don't think that these bigger questions are going to get answered. Just like we don't know Dal's backstory at all. We learned a little bit about Jenkins. We have no idea what Murph is or what his skill set or abilities are, other than eating things and generally being scared and not really speaking any language that can be understood. Although maybe Gwyn will be able to understand him. Who knows? Since she's a linguist or has that specialty skill. So I don't know. I think that we're going to have a lot of questions going forward and very few answers. And the exact point that you make is the questions aren't going to be asked because kids aren't going to ask those questions.
I guess. I mean... And
they're not going to ask for help until they as we saw last episode, they're not going to ask for help until they desperately need it. And so I don't think that we're going to get that kind of story. So, I think we just have to get adjusted to the fact that we're Star Trek fans who are watching a kid's Star Trek show. Mm-hmm. We're going to have these.
That's fair.
Yeah. But, sure. Which is why I think that, although now it seems weird because they're not going to run concurrently except for tomorrow. That's why I thought that these episodes would run concurrently because they're so completely different.
Right. They're release plan
the opposite end. We are literally getting the opposite end of the spectrum here. We are getting a very adult Discovery series that is complex, serialized,
a lot of feelings, a lot of crying. I can't wait. Yes, I can't wait for the tears.
There will be tears. Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think we just need to kind of strap in for this one. I just think that we're just going to have to have the mind of a child or children and watch this and enjoy this for what it is. And, ask these questions, but know that we're not going to get the answers to these, unfortunately.
But whatever. They're kids, but at the same time, they're, according to Star Trek on Paramount Plus, they're like 17, 18. They're like young adults. Like, they're not like 5,
Yeah, but I think we can gauge
Dal obviously has problem-solving skills. He's tried to escape multiple times. He knows how to survive, and part of that, I'm sure, is through asking questions once in a while. And it's like, how do we, if he posited, hey, there's this bad guy that's after us and we need to get the fuck out of here. It's like, whatever. But
I think it's slightly beyond his skill set at the moment. Who knows?
Maybe
Gwyn will be the one who will ask that question.
Maybe. In any case, with
the reprogrammed Janeway.
What?
No, with the reprogrammed Janeway, maybe that'll be the case, but
yeah,
we'll see. We'll find out where we're at tomorrow with this, final little episode, and that, then we'll have another gap year. It's
probably gonna be a cliffhanger. I don't think we're gonna get a full resolution. I doubt it.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not only are they stuck on this planet, the Diviner's on his way. So, I mean, because Gwyn gave them the coordinates. So I feel there's going to be too much to resolve in like a 20-something minute episode, you know? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, I agree. So I'm not, I'll just watch it to get it over with and
so sad.
See what happens, and then move on to Discovery, and we'll talk about it next week.
I will bet you $2 that there's going to be crying in the first episode of Discovery.
Okay. Well,
I'll bet you a drink.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's better.
I mean, there could be, all right. But if there's not crying,
if not, I owe you a drink.
Okay.
Yes. If there is, you owe me a drink.
Okay. All right. Well, most likely I'm gonna have to buy you a drink on the bet that you made. I didn't even make this bet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the one who has to pay for
I
this.
strong armed you into this. So
yes.
There was a comment. I think it was a rebuttal of the crying on Discovery. It was interesting. I think it was like someone was making a point that why are we criticizing a strong Black female crying? I'm not. It's not that. It's like there's crying every episode. It's like it's not like I have no issues with my main characters crying or women crying or Black leads crying. It has nothing to do with that. But we don't need it every episode. It's more like the extraneous of it. I appreciate that people have a range of emotions. I may not, but people have emotions and sometimes there are tears. I get it. There are very emotional situations out there that people have reactions to and there's salty discharge from the eyes. I get it. But we don't need it every single episode. I'm just saying. And sometimes it's like, why is this emotional? Is this a very emotional moment? Is it? And I'm just like, I don't know where all that Vulcan training went. She's like raised from Vulcan. Like, this is the thing. This is the other problem I have with it. Like, she's learned from a young age. She was adopted when she was like 2. And she's learned from a young age to disassociate herself from her emotions. Sarek, I would imagine, is a decent parent. We got Spock, but Spock also had issues. But Spock was half human, so you have to give him some slack. So I get it. But it's like, did she go to Vulcan school? She did. We know this. So where is all of that? I don't know. Anyway, that's my little soapbox.
Yes, that was quite the soapbox.
Yes. In any case. All right. Well, we can talk about Discovery next week. Either I will owe you a drink or you'll owe me a drink, and we'll take it from there.
There we go. I imagine that there's going to be crying in the first episode. Why wouldn't there be?
I mean, honestly, the waterworks come at the most inopportune times. I just don't know. It's even hard. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. We'll find out. And I'm not
gonna watch it till I don't know when I'm gonna watch it. I'll watch it at some point.
Yeah.
I have a busy day tomorrow. I have the day off, but I'm still gonna be in like 2 meetings, and I'm gonna be cooking this fucking turkey. So whatever. For people that are like, what is Johnson talking about? I'm hosting a Friendsgiving tomorrow. We are a week from Thanksgiving, but having friends over. I took a day off, but there are 2 meetings I need to be part of because there's too much happening. So it's fine. I'll put the turkey in the oven. I'll run between meetings to just turn on the oven. It'll be fine.
I'm sure you'll find some time to watch some Star Trek before all this occurs.
I also need to prep the apartment.
Of course, yes. We know you are the hostess with the mostest, and you will be up all night doing all of this.
It'll be fine.
So,
it'll be fine.
There you go.
Cool. Well, I think that does it for this episode, unless Mikey had any other thoughts.
No, but we'd like to hear the thoughts of our viewers, and they can reach us by DMing us on Instagram or Twitter at Deep Space Pride, or they can send us an email at deepspacepride@gmail.com.
Cool.
There we go.
All right. Well, Mike, it's been a pleasure. It is now 11 p.m. You probably need to get ready for bed. And we'll talk soon. We'll talk very soon.
I'm sure we'll be texting tomorrow after I watch Discovery.
I need to figure out when I'm going to watch it. So wait, you're going to watch Prodigy first, right? Just get out of the way and then Discovery.
Okay. 20 minutes I can give it to in the morning, and then we'll see how my day progresses. And of course, I need to edit this episode too, and we need to, work on this to get this out.
That's right.
It's Thursday, so there needs to be some time for that as well. So
yes, it's a lot to squeeze into one day.
It is, but happy Thanksgiving to those listeners who are in the U.S. and everyone else. We are grateful for you listening to us get on our soapboxes from time to time and talk some Trek and off topic and whatever else we love to talk about. Friendsgiving. And thanks. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Talk soon.
See you next week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Deep Space Pride is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Coconut.